Here's a video I never thought we'd put out. This is our beautiful home, 7 years old. And I just found out that that entire stone front is detached and about to come plummeting down directly in front of our main entrance, which we use every single day. And from what the home warranty company and home builder just told me, apparently this ain't their problem. It's on me. This just put a halt on my dream shop. I would love for this to be a warm aloha and welcome back. However, today's a very selective aloha. I've recently discovered that the front of my home, constructed of brick and limestone, suspended at about 15 to 20 feet directly above the main entrance, has become completely detached and is only being held up by the eave. Now, as a fun fact, this is what limestone would do from about 15 feet. Now, as a father of 2 young boys, you can imagine I wasn't very happy about the fact that the wall above my main entrance that the boys run in and out of several times a day could collapse at any moment. So I immediately called the home builder, who shot me right over to the warranty company, who are more than happy to tell me that ain't our problem. That's not covered. And this just didn't make sense to me, that a home only 7 years in age would have this type of problem. So I ran into the attic to do some investigating, and unfortunately, I think it got worse. And from there, we were very alarmed, so I called the home builder again, who now won't return my calls. So here we are. Maybe I'll make a TikTok about it. Day in the life of a DR Horton homeowner. First off, at 15 feet in height is our wall siding made of brick and limestone, detached from a structure. So I went to the attic to investigate, and unfortunately, it got worse. Once you get through the pathway of death, you arrive at the front of the home via the attic. These uprights, in theory, would have brick ties holding that veneer in place, which these uprights are cut an impeccable 90-degree angle. Now, if you guys are by chance new around here, this is not the type of content we put out. This, however, puts us in a very sticky place because for years, we've been working and saving every penny we can to break ground on a dream shop here on my property. However, the thought of having to tear down the front of my home and rebuild it doesn't sound very cheap. And I'm certain a lot of you out there are gonna have questions here about the home. So here's some quick data points. Home was built in late 2015. We are the second homeowner that took ownership in early 2019. From my understanding, in Texas law, builders are required to provide a 10-year home warranty, in which we are in year 7. In year 7, the only thing that's covered are major structural defects. And from what the home warranty company is telling me, the entire front end of a house apparently is not structural. They try to explain to me that if that front wall of the home were to fall off, the home wouldn't come tumbling down. So that's not structural, which I immediately answered with, I could drive my truck through a structural wall, the home wouldn't come tumbling down. So, challenge accepted. Now, as a really important point here, this isn't the first time I noticed issues nor reported it to the warranty company. Just over a year ago, I started noticing cracking in the mortar here just on the edge of the columns, and reported to the warranty company because I assumed that there was foundation issues that cause an issue with our columns, which would result in cracking there. There's also been a split right down the middle of that archway, which is extremely alarming given this is the main entrance to my home. That is 15 feet up, and that ain't light brick. They did nothing about it. Look who's just showing up. So, November of 2020, we submitted the claim, and January 20th of 2021, we finally had someone out there to measure the foundation and determine there was no major structural defects with the home. In fact, that the veneer was just cosmetic, and it was told to me that you could actually just go ahead, fill the mortar, and repair it because, again, it's just cosmetic. However, the cracks got worse, and we discovered the whole thing was detached, which led us to the attic. Now, when we got our home inspection before we moved in, I think the guy did a decent job. He found several things that needed to be corrected in some of the easy to reach areas. However, the front porch of my home from my attic is over there around that corner. And I went back and read his report, and he noted that he accessed the areas where he felt or deemed it safe, but my butt, without any experience at all, was able to kind of scale along our 2x6s here in order to get to that front porch. All right, so as we scale along this 2x4, the only place to really stabilize yourself and put your hand is this thing. And they made it extra fun because they have 4-inch nails sticking out of it on both ends. So this is the front porch. The larger wall is there, but the key issue we're finding is that portion. The brick and limestone supposedly have become either detached or never attached to begin with. Now, what we have across the entire home is this OSB sheathing. For some reason, except the front. The entire home is done in OSB, But this, I think it's called a T-ply vapor barrier. Obviously has some installation issues, but it's there. But the thing that really got me concerned the first time I got over here was how these 2x4s were installed. I am not a code expert, I am not a building expert, but my common sense says that 90-degree cut, however, perfectly 90-degree and really straight, is probably not the right cut for supporting all of this. So we have that and that, not only on the bottom, but the top as well is also cut at 90 degrees all the way down. And to the gentleman with the nail gun, you missed a couple spots. Well, maybe more than a couple. Okay, you missed all of them. So I don't know if the inspectors or the code dudes weren't able to get over here, but bro, you missed all your nails. And I'm trying to keep this light and positive, but this is very upsetting. Instead of cutting it, they decided just to tear it. Maybe he just forgot his saw? Kind of just... It's just folded there. Just hang in. Man, what a series of events these last 48 hours have been. What you saw in the last clip, we were able to confirm with our automotive borescope that the one side that's having cracking issues but is not detached, I could see a brick tie in there. So I was happy to see that at least, but the other side that's having the main issue of being completely detached, there's no way to get in there without removing some siding. I do not want to touch or remove anything with the chance of being accused that I caused the issue that we're seeing here. So called DR Horton back, they kept throwing me to the warranty company. The warranty company said there's no chance that this is going to be covered on the warranty because it's the stone veneer. Under their technical terms, it's not structural, so it's all on me. I wanted to talk to someone to come out here to confirm that this was put together right. As you saw from the attic, there is some concern with how that was built. So I ended up throwing a reel out there. For a few of you guys that watch the channel have some expertise in this realm, and also a few of you know a few folks at DR Horton, but still, nothing. So I thought, what do kids nowadays do when they have something to complain about? They go to TikTok. I don't do much on there. I'm not a big fan of the platform. It was kind of my Hail Mary, my last resort. The overnight did 100,000 views. Within 24 hours, it was at 1 million views, but still no response. So I put a second post out there telling the truth in my kind of sarcastic way, and it was up to about 1.5 million views overnight, up to 2 million views the first day, and it's up to nearly 5 million views at this point. That got their attention. The local compliance manager gave me a call, told me they're coming out on Monday. This is coming down and being rebuilt back up, and they're gonna throw 2 steel beams across both those arches, fix the inside, put OSB. Holy shnikes, it worked. Boys doing some good work. That's all I have right now. I can get some Gatorades later, but take them out some water. They've been going for about 4 hours now. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. We are torn apart the front of our home from the columns up. Everything's been disassembled, and I didn't realize how massive these pieces of limestone were until they started pulling them off. Like, this is a significant safety hazard. The fact that we were kind of going in and out of this home for so long with those cracks, very alarming, especially when they were knocking down the 2 arches. When they finally knocked down that middle piece and had it fall, that would have killed someone very easily. So I'm relieved that this is happening now, and finally. And before I mention any of this, I want to caveat, I'm not a building guy, don't know the codes. However, I have the internet and I can read. We have found under Chapter 14 in Texas building codes that brick ties are required if you're doing a stone veneer. Now, those brick ties are also required to be 16 inches on center. And it may not surprise you, good there. 25 inches, another 22 inches, but that's not really the worst part. So they had brick ties across here at the bottom, although they were a little bit too spread out, but that is the highest brick tie there was. All the movement was coming from up here, which there's not one brick tie or the entire top side. Now all of the weight is lying on top of two 2x12s that are nailed together going across and across there as well. Now those 2x12s are sitting on columns. Now I assumed when I heard the word column, I expected like a solid 4x4 piece of wood. These are a bunch of 2x4s nailed together. Not only that, they it looks like they may have cut a 2x4 a little bit too short and instead decided to cut another little sliver of wood to kind of just shim that in there. This was the primary issue side, and that's how it was put together. This one, just wait till you see this one. So we have our 2x12s coming across this entire span. This is probably around 20-ish feet. And as you come to this side, we obviously don't have our columns because we have 3 2x4s instead, just nailed together. But remember, this column spanning comes to edge and just chilling there on nothing. And once again, here's me, not complaining, just pointing things out that can't be right. That just can't be right. Correct me if I'm wrong. That scares me a little bit. So, good learning process. I want to showcase the process as it's happening live. The fact that DR Horton is, in fact, stepping up to get it done. Would they have done it without getting 8-9 million views on TikTok? I don't know. They hired the repair company, Premier Home Repair. They're stand-up dudes. They're doing great work so far, so we'll continue to bring you along in this nightmare. And I've had several of my neighbors actually stop by my house. I'm not a very social person. Say, hey, I saw the TikTok. This is the house, isn't it? So yes, this was unfortunately the TikTok house. That is the update so far, guys. We'll bring you along when we come back on Monday. Hopefully get this thing put back up because Tuesday, apparently, it's supposed to snow. God bless Texas. Good morning. It's been a few days. We've had really crappy weather, so we put this on hold for a couple days while it dried up. Yesterday, they got back out here and did quite a bit. I was in the office yesterday, so I missed pretty much all of it, but we got our arch replaced, we have our limestone going back up, and we have a ton of reinforcement. So what he did first with the brick ties, number one, he used brick ties, so that's an advantage from what used to be on here. But the brick ties are actually now tied in to the 2x12 that come across, and they're actually tied into the top of the arch. So it's gonna help support some of that weight to keep it from pressing down into these columns and separating them. On top of that, we installed this massive lantel all the way across, a big piece of steel that spans from column to column. So that's gonna support a lot of the weight as well. Juan, the guy that's actually doing this, is an artist. He's doing a great job. The only thing I'm a little bit iffy right now is the stones. He's laid them kind of long ways going up, where the rest of the design are kind of straight lines going this way. Once this dries up, you're not gonna be able to notice anyways. And look at this, guys. It doesn't move. Juan, sir, you are an artist. I really like how this center brick, they actually cut it at an angle. So that's actually the center point and it actually moves outward. That looks really good. Super happy with that. We went ahead and sheathed the inside as well. So you have that T-ply vapor barrier and both sides have been sheathed in plywood. And I am fairly certain that today is gonna be the final day working on this. We're gonna be done today. Been a slow process thanks to the weather, but it is getting done finally. Still questionable structural engineering on the inside of this, but I think we did everything we could to fix it. From the 90-degree brackets, we've done everything we could to beef up the structure on this. So last day. It is done. It is almost done because they haven't put the light fixtures back up and I've been sick and tired of waiting for them. So I said, no bother, I'll do it. So last step, guys, is to get these light fixtures hung back up, but gosh, oh, I'm so happy this is over with. That was such a ridiculous circus of events. There's no other way to put it, but these arches look so much better than they did. Juan, you are an artist, sir. What they did on both of these arches, they actually increased the angle of the arch. It's going to help press downward on the columns versus pressing outward. With the amount of reinforcement we put up under there, it's going to be just fine. So last thing we're going to do is grab our light fixtures, wire them back up on both of these posts. Then we shall be done. Dang, they mashed up those bricks pretty good. Happy about that. It is finished. What a whirlwind of a few weeks, guys. That was crazy. From the moment of taking Christmas lights down after Christmas, seeing that entire wall shift and my heart just dropping. Because we're trying so hard to build the shop in the backyard, but it's taking every penny I have in my savings to do it, and tearing down the front of my home would just basically blow that thing to smithereens. Turning to TikTok on a silly post, which went viral, and 11 million views later, they came out and fixed it on their own dime. I didn't pay a penny for it. So the shop, the dream, is back on. During this entire nightmare of a process, I have been working with a local metal building company on a few designs that will appease the HOA and city building codes. We're actually gonna be going with a metal building frame, which is gonna allow us up to 18 feet on the interior peak. It's been a heck of a few weeks. I'm closely monitoring the guys that were doing the building for having to push them to really do it right. So I can kind of get why this home ended up in this situation in the first place, and really having to push crews to do the right thing the first time. This is where we are in 2023. People cut corners every single day on everything they do. So on that bombshell, guys, thank you for hanging out with me till this point in the video for this little bit nightmare of a process. If you are going through it yourself, I feel your pain, guys, but we will be back to the automotive content very soon because we have stuff with the 07. We have a ton of stuff coming up with the 2004 C5 Corvette Project Waikiki, and some exciting news about an upcoming event at Texas Motor Speedway called LS Fest, and two of my vehicles that will be competing. So until next time, guys, y'all take care. Ahui ho. Aloha. Woo!